Welcome back, everyone, to Accounting Recounted, your go to source for financial updates and tax related news. I'm your host, Amanda Hendren, and today we are going to be discussing annual inflation adjustments for tax year 2024. The IRS announced annual inflation adjustments for over 60 tax provisions in tax year 2024, which we're going to talk about a few of the big ones in this episode, as well as inflation adjustments to contribution limits to certain retirement accounts and savings plans. So, without further ado, let's dive into the details. One significant change is in the standard deduction amounts for tax year 2024. So, if you are a married couple filing jointly, the standard deduction increases to $29,200, which is up $1,500 from the previous year. Single taxpayers and married individuals filing separately will see a standard deduction of $14,600 for 2024, up $750 from the previous year. Heads of household will have a standard deduction of $21,900, up $1,100 from the previous year. Now, it's important to note that these adjustments are for tax year 2024 and will generally apply to the taxes that you're filing in 2025. So you're not going to see these changes in April when you file your tax return. It's actually going to be on the following year's returns. Now, let's talk about individual tax rate brackets for tax year 2024. The top tax rate remains at 37% for individual single taxpayers with incomes greater than $609,350. And then for married couples filing jointly, if you have income over $731,200. Again, that's 37%. Now, on to the other tax brackets. I have them listed here and I'm going to read them to you. So just bear with me for a moment because it's a lot of different numbers and it's easy to get lost. If it's easier for you to actually read this information instead of listen to it, I am going to link our blog post about this topic in the show notes of the episode. So be sure to check that out if you want. Okay, so on to the tax brackets. I'm going to start with the higher income thresholds and work my way down. And also, I think I'm just going to list the single, if you're a single taxpayer, and then just note that if you are a married taxpayer filing jointly, you'll just double these amounts, and that's what will give you that income threshold. So if you are a single taxpayer and you're filing single, if you earn over $243,725, your tax rate is going to be 35%. And then let's move on down. Your tax rate will be 32% for incomes over $191,950. And then 24% for incomes over $100,525. 22% for incomes over $47,150. 12% for incomes over $11,600, and 10% for incomes of single individuals with incomes of $11,600 or less. Again, if you're a married couple filing jointly, just double all of those numbers and all of those income thresholds, and that will give you your tax rate for the year. Again, I've listed this. If it's easier for you to see it in print, I'll link our blog post to the show notes so you can take a look. All right, let's move on. So the IRS has also made adjustments to other tax items of interest. For example, the alternative minimum tax exemption amount for 2024 is $85,700, with a phase out starting at $609,350 for individuals and around $1.2 million for married couples filing jointly. For comparison, for a single taxpayer, the exemption amount was $81,300 in 2023. Now, let's talk about the maximum earned income tax credit, which is a tax break for low and moderate income workers. It can provide a generous reduction in your tax bill as long as your income is below a certain level. The main rule for this credit is that you have to have worked in the year for which you're claiming the credit. That amount is increasing to $7,830 for tax year 2024, which is up from $7,430 in 2023. Okay, now switching gears from taxes and tax credits, let's move on to the inflation adjustments that were made for retirement accounts, health savings accounts, and flexible spending accounts. As you may already know, the IRS does typically increase these contribution limit amounts every year, so I wanted to cover those in this episode as well, since there will be some significant inflation adjustments that they've made. These changes go into effect in January of 2024, so be sure to look over your contributions at the start of the new year to ensure that you're on track to meet your goals. Let's start by talking about retirement. The amount that individuals can contribute to Section 401k plans will increase to $23,000 in 2024, which is up from $22,500 in 2023. That amount also applies to 403b plans and most 457 plans, as well as the federal government's thrift savings plan. The catch-up contribution limit for employees that are 50 and older who participate in 401ks, 403bs, and most 457 plans remains $7,500 for 2024. This means that participants in these plans who are 50 and older can contribute up to $30,500 in 2024. The limit on annual contributions to traditional and Roth IRAs increased to $7,000, and the IRA catch-up contribution limit for individuals 50 and older remains at $1,000 for 2024. And finally, the amount that individuals can contribute to their simple plan is increased to $16,000, up from $15,500. The catch-up contribution for employees 50 and older who participate in simple retirement accounts is still $3,500 for 2024. All right, enough about retirement. Let's move on to HSAs and FSAs. The IRS has set a record high HSA contribution limit for 2024. Individuals can contribute up to $4,150 to their HSA accounts in 2024, and families can contribute up to $8,300. This is an over 7% increase from 2023, which is a huge increase and great news because you can contribute to these pre-tax, meaning it's going to save you money. For HSA users 55 and older, you can contribute an extra $1,000 to your HSA. Now, if you're choosing to participate in an FSA, you can contribute up to $3,200 through payroll deductions during the 2024 plan year. If your employer's plan permits carryover of unused health FSA amounts, you can carry over up to $640 in 2024, which is about a $30 increase over last year, which is not huge, but still worth mentioning. All right. Is that enough numbers for one day? I think so. There you have it, everyone. These are the key highlights of the IRS's recent announcement about annual inflation adjustments for 2024. Thank you for joining us on Accounting Recounted. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe, rate, and leave me a review. See you next time and have a great rest of your day.